Hi, everyone. Welcome to Wednesdays on the Steep, Writing from Your Dreams with Gabrielle Kaplan-Mayer, who is an author and educator who teaches expressive writing workshops focused on the intersection of creativity and spiritual growth. She is training to become a Jungian-focused spiritual director with the Haden Institute, and she's currently drafting a memoir that integrates several life-changing dreams. So, Gabrielle, would you like to take it away?
I would. So first of all, I want to thank you, Arshani, and thank Blue Stoop for this opportunity. It's so incredible, the resources and support that you give to Philadelphia area writers. And I want to thank each one of you who made time to be here today. I'm just so grateful that you're here, and I'm really excited for our hour ahead. I also want to let you know that I will share the slides with you. I'll collect emails at the end, so you don't have to feel like you're trying to catch all the notes and information that I'm sharing. I'm going to present it back to you in a way that's really easy. So I think I'll just jump in so we can get started. All right. Sorry, let me arrange my Zoom screen here. So this session, as you know, is called Writing from Your Dreams. I want to just share what we're going to do together. We're going to begin by, I'm going to actually invite you right now as I'm sharing this overview to just pause and take a quick breath. I know each one of you has come from a full day, possibly working. You may have caretaking responsibilities. You may have been running errands. You may have been writing, editing. Some of you may be in school, whatever it is. And I'm going to invite you to actually just breathe, to arrive here and to know that this time is for you. I would love to find out in the chat if you'd share where you're zooming in from, and also if you want to share, I think it'll be interesting for everyone to see, maybe a word or two about why this particular topic interested you, whether it was the writing part or the dream part or both. So that would be awesome to share in the chat. I'm going to begin by just talking to you a bit about what I'm learning about dream journaling. As you heard, I'm immersed in a training with the Haden Institute that is Jungian-focused. So we do a lot of dream work together to explore and examine our unconscious and our spiritual lives. I'm going to introduce a group dream exercise. I'm going to actually share one of my dreams with you, and we'll do a little writing exercise in response. And then I'll invite you to do something with one of your dreams. If you don't have a dream, don't worry about it. I'll give you a workaround for that. There's always a workaround with writing prompts. And we will do some reflection together. And there will be an opportunity for sharing if you're comfortable. And that could be either unmuting and sharing or simply using the chat feature. So whatever works for you. But while we're settling in, I actually want to read this poem to you. As adults, we don't get the opportunity to be read to so much, right? So this is a famous work. Some of you may recognize this poem from Yeats. And on the topic of dreams, this poem has been coming up for me a lot. So I think this could take us into the dream world here at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Had I the heavens embroidered cloths and wrought with golden and silver light, the blue and the dim and the dark cloths of night and light and the half light, I would spread the cloths under your feet. But I, being poor, have only my dreams. I have spread my dreams under your feet. Tread softly, because you tread on my dreams. So take a moment, take that in. And if there's a word or phrase that pops to you, an image, go ahead and put it in the chat. What stands out to you in that poem by Yeats? So while we're gathering that moment and breathing and settling in, I'm going to talk to you about the kind of writing that I teach. I've been writing for a long time and writing for a number of publications. I'm also an author. And for about a year and a half, I've been teaching expressive writing, both some in-person opportunities and online. And whenever I teach, I like to begin by just setting intentions about this process. So whatever we write today is really a mind, body, spirit experience, especially talking about dreams and what might come up for us in dreams. If emotions bubble up for you, that's part of the process. You can breathe again, tune in, release them. I also mentioned that we tune into our feelings with responsibility, each one of us. If at any point something feels too intense, perhaps remembering a dream or hearing someone sharing, it's fine to pause, it's fine to breathe. And to do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself. There's never pressure to stick with any particular prompt. When people share, we do so with empathy. And we especially offer ourselves compassion, for wherever we are in coming to this today. So with that in mind, let me talk to you a little bit about a philosophy of dreams. So I'm holding up a book called The Wisdom of Your Dreams. I'll share this with you in my follow-up email. It's written by Jeremy Taylor. It's one of the texts that we're reading in my program with the Haden Institute. And the big gestalt, if I had to take it into three main ideas, is this: that there's no such thing as a dream with only one meaning or one level of meaning. So dreams may be coming up to you just as we begin to talk about this topic. And you may have a dream that you've puzzled over for a while. And we're going to do some exercises that allow you to really consider different kinds of meanings that may come with the dream. No dream comes to tell you, the dreamer, what you already know. So I think that is the fascinating part, how busy and full our subconscious lives are. And as writers, I think we all know this, right? When we sit down, whether you're writing nonfiction memoir like I am, or whether you're writing fiction, plays, developing characters, when we write, we discover so much. We connect with our characters. We find out what they have to say. We go into our own internal memories, and we're always in a process of discovery. And so dreams really are quite similar in that way, and are very natural for us as readers to tune into, because we're already engaged in this process of curiosity and discovery. If we knew all the things when we came to the page, it would probably be pretty boring for us. And that finally, all dreams come in the service of health and wholeness. That might sound strange when some dreams are nightmares. In the manuscript that I'm working on, there are actually three main dreams that are the anchors, and two of them are nightmares. So how could that possibly come in the service of health and wholeness? Well, our nightmares can teach us too. There may be something we've been trying to avoid. One of the nightmares I write about is something that occurred in my childhood, the nightmare, and stayed with me for a long time. And now as an adult looking back on it, it's helping me to piece some things together in my life. Another one of the dreams happened when I was in my mid-20s and was kind of coming into my identity in a new way. And it really helped me as I studied that dream to understand some important things about myself. So even though both of those dreams had some scary elements, they were really in the service of me becoming whole. So I would love to see by a virtual hand, or those of you who have the camera on, does anyone keep a dream journal? Does anyone do that currently? Or maybe you have. Ravneet does. I see Annette shaking your head, Carol shaking your head, Maureen. Awesome. So some of you, Amanda and Megan, oh, okay, so a bunch of you. Okay, that is really, really cool. So I started keeping a dream journal kind of seriously like in March. It's not a fancy journal. It is this notebook that has lots of scrawlings in it that I keep by my bed. And the process that I'm using right now is really just setting an intention before bed, asking for a dream, kind of relaxing before bed. Keeping a sleep routine, I think, is healthy in every way, but certainly if we want to remember dreams, if like we're so exhausted when we get to sleep, that may interfere. If we have more of a scheduled sleep and we're really getting the rest our physical bodies need, it can help us in terms of our dream journaling. The journal's right by my bed. Some people in my program like to use the voice memo on their phone. I do not. I'm worried that if I pick up my phone, even to speak into it, that I'm going to get distracted by something on my phone, and that feels really disruptive. But I know there's some people who feel like actually taking a pen and writing is harder in the dark. So you find what works for you. And reviewing the dream journal is really important. I am enjoying this part so much. I usually don't look back at it until like after a week or two goes by. And I get into the dream journal and these images, flood me with discovery. And even a few days later, a week later, I can think about what they might mean. And sometimes we need to take breaks. Sometimes, dream journaling can be really intense. And if we're going through other things in our life, it might be healthier for us to take a break and come back to it. So I'm going to pause right there. I'm going to take the screen down so I can see everyone. And we're going to enter the experience where I'm going to share one of my dreams with you. And then we're going to do some writing exercises around it. So before I do that, let me take a deep breath and see either in the chat or raising your hand or unmuting. Any questions so far? Okay. Then we're going to keep going. And like I said, I'm going to share the slides with you. So there's nothing you need to remember. All right. So I'm going to read to you again, just like when I read you the poem. I'm going to read you my dream. And you'll notice that I've written it so that it's in the first person, as if it's happening now. It's also a short dream. Our dreams can be very brief. We can capture images, scenes, and sometimes we have dreams that are much longer and take place in different landscapes, and we travel through different times. This particular dream I picked because it was short so that we would have time to do a whole process with it, and it's just in one scene. So here's the dream. I am at a festive party. There is singing and dancing around me. I am looking for a table and find my colleague Sean and sit down with him. A waiter comes by and fills large glasses full of champagne for us. I lift my glass towards Sean and say, L'chaim, loudly and emphatically. I touch my glass to his, and his glass shatters into pieces, falling to the floor. He looks shattered and goes to try and collect the pieces. You can't, I try to tell him, but the music is too loud. Okay, I'm going to give it to you one more time. Here we go. I am at a festive party. There is singing and dancing around me. I am looking for a table and find my colleague Sean and sit down with him. A waiter comes by and fills large glasses full of champagne for us. I lift my glass towards Sean and say, L'chaim, loudly and emphatically. I touch my glass to his, and his glass shatters into pieces, glass falling to the floor. He looks shattered and goes to try and collect the pieces. You can't. I try to tell him, but the music is too loud. So now I'm going to invite you to take out your own journals and pens, or if you're writing on your keyboard, I'm going to invite you to select any image from that dream. And we're going to do a little response with it. So when I say image, it could be me, Gabrielle, like the narrator. It could be Sean. It could be the waiter. It could be the champagne. It could be the glass that shatters. It could be a person dancing at the party. It could be a musician. I didn't really name the musicians, but I said there's music there and it's festive. So maybe you saw a musician in your mind. All right. So the first prompt is just, I am. So just simply write, like, I'm the champagne flute, I'm the musician, whoever you are. And the next one, my purpose is to. My purpose is to. I like. I dislike. I dislike. Next one, I fear. I fear. And last one, what I most desire is. What I most desire is. So let's pause for one moment. One thing that's really cool as a writer, if you're recording your own dream, right, in the journal, you're probably most associated with the feeling you have as the narrator, the protagonist. So it could help us understand maybe a different meaning if we put ourselves in the role of the other person, a musician watching the event, right? So it's a really cool way to shift perspective. So I'm going to pause for a minute. Does anyone feel comfortable sharing your response to my dream? You could just go ahead and unmute if someone wants to share theirs. No pressure, but if you're feeling it.
Hi.
Julianne, go for it. Julianne's participated in a bunch of workshops with me.
And I'm always first one up.
All right, go for it.
Okay. Well, that was fun.
Wait till the next one. There's a whole nother prompt we're going to do, but this one's fun already.
I like this because you just had to write what was on the top of your head.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't give you time. So I am the glass shattering. My purpose is to draw as much attention as possible. I like that I keep shattering. I dislike the angst and worry that washes over everyone. I fear that no one takes me seriously, no matter how much I shatter. What I most desire is everyone to turn around and see me.
All right, Julianne, I'm going to give you some Zoom sprinkles. Thanks for diving in. Yeah, you can see, like, as a writer, if you're taking this from your dream, right? Like, Oh my gosh, what a shift to have that. All right, we've got Heather in the chat. I'm going to read yours, Heather. Thank you. I am the shattering glass. My purpose is to release. I like letting go. I dislike maintaining the tension. I fear the mop and the broom. What I most desire is to fall. Oh my goodness. And both of you, so it's interesting. I'm just curious, show of hands, how many people chose the glass as the image? It's a pretty powerful one. It's a pretty powerful one in that dream. Yeah, yeah. And notice that as you all listening and me sharing this dream as the writer, I haven't told you anything about the circumstances or any of my real life associations to it. It really doesn't matter. Just you working with the dream in this way opened up worlds to us. So we're going to try one more exercise with my dream, and then we're going to take a little time and we're going to invite you to share a dream. Oh, I've got one more. I chose intact glass, so wrote less exciting stuff. Cool, but also like so many different opportunities there to hear from, one glass shatters and then one's intact. What's the intact one imagining in all this? Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so hold on to your image if you would. You could, of course, switch to it. If you, who cares? There's no right and wrong. We're playing. If you want to pick a different image, pick a different image. But we're going to try one more kind of deepening exercise with it. So this is really to expand our perspective with the images that the dream conjured up for us. So now we're going to really use our writer senses and sensory toolbox here. If my image was a texture, it would feel like. Now, of course, if you pick the glass, you're like, well, I know what glass feels like, but maybe there's something about this particular glass that we could really imagine. So if my image were a texture, it would feel like. If my image were a sound, it would sound like. So again, we had some sounds in this dream, right? Because we had the music, we had the glass breaking, but what else? I don't know if we were gonna say the glass broke as loud as, like, whatever you heard. If my image were a sound, it would sound like. If my image were a taste, it would taste like. If my image were a taste, it would taste like. If my image were a color, it would be. If my image were a color, it would be. And last one. If my image were a smell, it would smell like. If my image were a smell, it would smell like. So let's take a pause for a moment there. Same thing, if you feel like sharing, just to play, just to hear some of these, you can use the chat or just give a wave and unmute. Love to hear what came up for this one. Yeah, Carol, go for it. Oh, Carol, there you go, Carol.
Apologize because they're doing some construction work next door and you might hear a lot of banging and it might be affecting my answers. My texture is a sharp knife.
Ooh.
My sound is a scream. My taste is dry mouth. My color is red and my smell is fresh blood.
Oh, Carol, awesome, awesome, awesome. It's like whatever's going on, whether it's around us from the realm of imagination, like look at how from that initial dream, which was short, and those words and images, look where your imagination was able to take it. Incredible. I see in the chat, if my image was a texture, it would feel like slime. If my image was a sound, it would sound like an empty cave with an echo. If my image were a taste, it would taste like Sour Patch Kids. If my image was a color, it would be black. And if my image was a smell, it would smell like mold. Okay, wow. So I'm in a whole imagistic world. Will you put in the chat, which I'm so curious, which image you had? That is wild, Amanda. And to Darcy, the sound was cacophony. Julianne, the texture was the skin of a newborn. And Amanda said that was the shattered glass. And so again, like the shattered glass might be red, it might be black. Like what are you bringing to it? And Navneet said the taste was like stone. Okay, you all, I'll go home. I'll leave the Zoom. You all got it. But this is amazing. We've got another one from Heather. And it's also the image of the glass shattering. Okay, this dream was evocative for this workshop, I think. It feels like an iron patch on, an iron-on patch on a t-shirt. It sounds like jingle bells, tastes like peppermint schnapps, is blinding white, and smells like lemon pledge on a cold afternoon. Oh, wow, Heather, that's so cool. I could taste that peppermint schnapps with the glass shattering. That just came through for me. And Julian, we've got some more from you. We've got the sound is like a waterfall exhaling. Taste a million jimmies or pop rocks. Oh, inside of your mouth, the smashing. The smell, crispest, cleanest air, and a hint of mint. Interesting. So a few of you, we got glass and mint and all of these images. So that came out of a little dream that I scrawled one night into my notebook. Depending on what I was interested in writing, I mean, we got the start of a story. I can see a play, a scene. It might be something I would want to pull into my memoir. So I'll just share with you because now we're done with the writing exercise around it. But in my real life association to the dream, it was around the time that I was having a very difficult, oh, Navneet, I'll talk about the forgetting the dreams. Don't you worry about that. I was having some difficult tension, difficult power struggles with this person who's a colleague in my life. I'm a female identified person. He's a male person. And when I woke up from the dream and I was able to get that image, I really felt like the dream was very much bringing my own associations to it. It was sort of like, this image you have of me or some things in our relationship are breaking, are shattering now. And I'm sorry that I'm not going to grab a broom and sweep up the glass. I'm just kind of watching it and kind of like instructing you like, yeah, it's done. It's not going to come back together. So it was powerful. So it's really a practice, the dream journaling. I was randomly remembering dreams or not remembering dreams before I began my program. And we're encouraged, because it's a Jungian-based program and we're really doing work around the subconscious, to keep a dream journal and to to try our best, even with the, need to take breaks. So I will share this with the slides. The wisdom of your dreams, I'm giving you like a little ideas. There are just pages and pages of ideas about the practice of remembering. But I really do think the keeping the journal by your bed, the intention to remember the dreams is helpful. And I'll be honest with you, I'm at the age where I usually get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. It's inconvenient, but it could help with your dreams, because mostly I remember them in those moments where like I've been awakened. And also first thing in the morning, if you can allow yourself to lie in bed for like 5 to 7 minutes and breathe and stretch your body, it really goes a long way to remembering. Too often, we turn to the phone, we turn to our to-do list. We haven't given ourselves the opportunity to have a transition from sleeping to waking. So of course we lose them, because our brain is a busy organ and is on to the next thing. So all those ideas can help a lot. All right, show of hands. How many, or virtual hand, how many of you have a dream in mind that you could try a little writing with now? How many of you have it? So some of you have a dream in mind. That's great. If you don't have a particular dream, you might want to just use a daydream, because it's all kind of the same work at times. When we daydream, it could also be our subconscious trying to give us some important information. So I'm going to share my screen for a moment and just give you some ideas about what I did when I wrote my dream. So you're going to write the dream out in present tense. If you know the feelings that were in the dream, add them. Like when I wrote that it felt festive, the music was festive. If you have a sense of the feeling around you or the feeling inside of you, add that in. Include details that you remember. Location. Many times our dreams will take us to lots of different locations, whether it's an indoor location, an outdoor location. Who's present with you? Are you hearing anything? What do you see in terms of colors? So all of these, as many details as you can, is helpful. I'm gonna set the clock. It's 4:35. We're not gonna give a whole long time. We're gonna take 5 minutes. And if you want to turn your camera off, feel free. I'll give you a warning when you have 1 more minute left. And if you have a dream or a daydream to work with, go ahead and write out as many of those details as you can. One more minute. And time. So just take a breath. Notice how you're feeling. Notice how your energy is. And if anything came up for you as you were writing that dream, we're going to actually go back to the prompts that we did with my dream. Let me bring them up so you all can see them. And I'm going to invite you to look at your own dream now and do the same thing. So select any image from the dream. And it might be cool to, we're not always in the dream as a narrator. Sometimes we're like an omniscient narrator and we're not there at all. But pick one image from the dream and go ahead and try these responses that we did with my dream. I am, my purpose is to, I like, I dislike, I fear, and what I most desire is. And remember that you could go back to one dream and you might have 10 different images that came up within that dream. And you could do this exercise with all of those images. And now when you're ready, we're going to go deeper into the images. Yeah, Julianne. Did you need it? Here you go. So it's I am, my purpose is to, I like, I dislike, I fear. That's okay. And what I most desire is. Absolutely. And now take it even deeper. This is where we go deeper into our world of metaphor and simile, right? And take another minute. So I'm going to call us back together. And I know that it could be very personal with a sort of a drop-in workshop where we're just meeting each other for the first time to share a dream and what the images meant from your own dream, right? Our dreams are very precious. We hold them close. They come, as I said, in the service of healing and to give us information. So I'm not going to invite you to share a dream, although if anyone wants to, you please let me know. But I would like us to close by just sharing some time to, oh, Amanda might. Okay, that's great. What I'm hoping we can do in this time together is to actually reflect on imagining, how do you think dream journaling would enhance your writing process? As I shared, it's something very, very intimate in terms of the memoir piece I'm working on. But I'd love to hear about that. But Amanda, go for it. Please go ahead and share.
Okay, so when I was younger, I used to have a reoccurring nightmare of a no-face man who had a black top hat and a long trench coat. And he would slowly walk towards me and I would be running away frantically. And there would be these doorways that would pop up. So we'd be running through a field and I'd walk through the doorway and suddenly we're near the bridge by my childhood home, and then another doorway appears and I'm somewhere else. But in the end, he would always catch me. He couldn't hear me, couldn't see me, couldn't smell me, but he was always there. But changing the perspective and putting myself as him really changed my view on it, because my answers changed. So it's like, I'm the no-face man. My purpose is to find you. I like to travel and show people new worlds. I dislike conformity and familiarity. I fear nothing and no one. What I most desire is to find myself, who I am. So it doesn't feel like a nightmare anymore. It feels like he's just trying to tell me, this is how you find yourself.
Wow, Amanda. So first of all, thank you. I want to applaud your vulnerability in bringing that to us. Megan just wrote, well, it sounds like Ray Bradbury. Yeah. So I got to tell you, as writers, I'm like, my subconscious gives me a lot more than my waking mind does. I'm telling you, these dreams, like, oof, the stuff that I get it's so evocative and imagistic. And then if we can bring some of these perspective practices and play with them, like what we could unlock. And as writers, I think we are people who are looking to unlock, as I said, any artist, anyone in a creative pursuit, right? There's something there in that veil between waking mind and sleeping mind that calls to us. And yeah, I want to second what Maureen wrote, a nice reframing of a scary, icky image as very, very scary dream. And when we can hold this idea that even a nightmare might not be so scary if we look at it as, oh, this is information. This is information for me to uncover. So amazing. Maureen, I see your hand, please.
Well, I'm not going to share the dream that I wrote about, but what I have found in writing my dreams out and kind of mining some of that material is that my writing tends to be too linear, too succinct and to the point. And I have trouble adding enough veers and swerves and, discordant things. So going back to the dreams, it's like, there's a lot of discord there, a lot of ways to veer off and go in different directions. And that's dream journaling has helped with that. Yeah.
Maureen, that is fascinating. And are you writing fiction?
I write poetry.
You write poetry. Wow.
Yeah.
So that is so fascinating that your style is more linear. And we can think of a lot of poets who are, and to be able to say, oh, what happens? Like with a curiosity, if we veer off here and how it could expand. That's fascinating. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Julianne.
Well, this was great. I mean, what I wanted to share was not what I wrote, because what I wrote was actually something that I had very well formulated in my head in reaction to a dream that I recently had. Now, for years and years, the theme, till recently, the theme of my dream was being behind. I was always stuck at my age in elementary school, or stuck, behind everyone else, and this kind of incessant explaining to the principals and the teachers that and I was even like arrested at one point I was arrested by the authorities that I was hiding. I was going to school for years and years instead of going out and getting a job. I claimed that I had to finish up my credits or whatever. So anyway, I'm back in high school. I'll be right with you. Just a second. And just recently, I had this dream where I was being offered all of these wonderful graduate programs, a MFA and this and a PhD in this. And I said, no, I can't, because I've got a great job and I can't leave my job. And I do. I have the most wonderful job that I've been in, for a year, and it's incredible. So it was just really, and so I wrote about that, and I wrote about the images, and my image was that I was the brown paper bag, that you brought your lunch into in my era, the very sad paper bag, and all the textures and sounds and smells that went with that brown paper bag and what it represented. And then this recent dream, which was just so, affirming and clear about how I get transformed.
Wow. Oh, well, thank you so much. And thank you for bringing us to that idea that also some of those dreams we have are recurring dreams. And those are ones we really want to reach out and catch and explore and share perspectives. And a dream that might be recurring could have a different ending. Again, I'm just fascinated with this, and I want to, obviously this is not a whole length course, but to say that what we do with our dreams, I think really matters in terms of understanding that part of our life that is a significant part of our life, our sleeping life. And every major culture in the world has had traditions and rituals to honor dreams, and it's only very recently in history that a sort of rational approach might look and say, well, do dreams mean anything or not mean anything? But we have cultures from around the world who say to us, there is something here. And so that's why I think they're important and have found them important. Awesome. Anyone else? I know we're coming towards the end of our time. I want to make sure we've got time. So I want to just share with you all, I'm going to share my screen, a little bit about how we could connect more if this was of interest to you. As I mentioned, I lead workshops, mostly online, but some local in the Philadelphia area, called Feed Your Spirit Writing. That's my website. This coming Sunday, I'm actually working with a partner who is this wonderful, very cool woman who has a shop here in Elkins Park. She sells crystals. And so she's going to lead a new moon ritual, and I'm going to lead an expressive writing component. And it's a terrific group of women. So that happens to be coming up Sunday. I can put in the chat the info about that. Let me do that. But if you'll take a moment to add your email to the chat, then I'll make sure to send you my slides and some other resources about dreams. So just go ahead and drop that in. Thank you so much. And while you're dropping your email in, I would love to see if anyone has just like a closing, what you're taking away from the time we were together. That would be great.
I'm just fascinated, Gabrielle. Thank you so much. Just in 2 sentences, I got distracted while you were telling us how to remember dreams. That is going to be my second take of the day, of course, besides the lovely prompts that you gave to sort of frame my writing.
Well, I'm going to make sure that I send you the slides, but also there's a wonderful free PDF that you can download by someone who's an expert in dreams. And I will send that too, so that you get some more good ideas about how to remember your dreams. Because once you got that, then, you know, you'll be good to go.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else, please feel free. Yeah.
I'm fascinated by the fragile, tenuous nature of the dreams. And you mentioned that about, you know, as soon as you wake up, writing it down. And I have to do it immediately. Otherwise, it's just gone. It just evaporates like a spider's web, just kind of melts. And yeah, that's, to me, it's very fascinating that it does that. But
oh, I agree with you. I struggle with that all the time. I will sometimes wake up in the middle of the night and be so tired that I think to myself, you know, I just got everyone's that way. I'm so tired and I think to myself like, oh, I'll remember this. And then, you know, I'll repeat it to myself and sleep. But if I don't write it down, it's gone. It's really hard. Well, thank you all. I gotta tell you, I'm a big believer as a teacher in starting on time and closing on time. So it's 4:58. So I want to thank Blue Stoop again for this opportunity. It was just so great to be able to be here with you and to share this time with you all. And thank you for being so, you know, so generous in sharing your dreams and your ideas. And I will get the slides out to you.
thank you.
Thank you,
so much for
Gabby.
this session. This was so great. I learned a lot and I enjoyed hearing everyone's writing and thoughts as well. I'm just going to throw those links back in the chat that I've mentioned about Blue Stoop. So again, our classes, our events, our Wednesdays on the Stoops, our feedback surveys, and any kind of donation if you would like to make one. And of course, please always reach out if you have any questions or concerns, but otherwise I hope to see you next Wednesday. Thank you so much, everyone.
Take care.